It's almost fidget worthy. That's how good it feels. All right, so today's the day that everyone and their moms and their grandmas and their dogs and their toddlers have been waiting for. The Switch 2 is finally here, and this video is not going to be like a first hands-on impression video where I just kind of unbox it and just say, oh, this feels good in the hand, which it does feel very good in the hand, by the way. This video is going to be more so my experience with the Switch 2 over these last 24 hours and a couple of like little small nuanced things that you really wouldn't pick up on unless you were firmly grasping this in your hands for yourself. And I'm also going to be answering a couple of questions that you guys asked me personally, and largely I've really been enjoying the heck out of the Switch 2 over these last 24 hours. Although, like with anything, nothing is quite perfect, and there are some things I've noticed personally using this extensively for you guys that I think you should know if you're planning to shell out the $500 for the Switch 2. So if you guys are new here, my name is Dave, and this is where tech meets lifestyle. Now, something that's also occurred to me is battery life. So there's no way for me to prove it right now. I should have done this in the very beginning, but when I sat down to record the video, the Switch 2 was at 98% battery. I haven't played any games. It is 3:32 now. We're 94% battery. I would say only like 15, maybe 20 minutes have kind of gone by of me having the screen on, and it dropped 4% battery. We'll discuss battery life a little bit later. Now, for context, I'm someone that liked the Switch originally, but I'm someone who prefers more so, wait a second, like my ROG Ally X. I also have this bad boy here, the new Legion Go S. This is really nice as well. And the reason for that being, honestly, just like pure output power and the variety of games. But for playing with family and friends, it's amazing. And don't get me wrong, I love it for that too. But can I tell you guys, when I first took this out of the box, the first thing that blew me away was the size. The screen of this thing, this 8-inch display is absolutely gorgeous. And really the big thing was when I put it in my hand, immediately I felt the difference between like this and a Switch or a Switch OLED, and also how light this thing is and how thin. Really the impressive thing is just how thin the Switch 2 is compared to the Ally X and the Legion Go S. And the Legion Go S is a really thick boy, but man, that thinness is really impressive, and how light it is as well. Something that you notice immediately when you're picking up the Switch 2, it feels really light and really good in the hand. And I had a question from Mir24601. He asked about the difference between this in the hand and say like the Switch OLED. And in terms of like size, I was a little bit confused at first, right? Because they look pretty much the same, but when I held this in the hand, it felt better in my palm than the Switch OLED did. And when I was looking at them, I was kind of confused, but what I realized, the reason for that is really because of this sloped grip here, where on your Switch and the Switch OLED, those are more, they're not completely flat, but they're not as curved as this, and so they feel more like a flat slab, where this actually feels like it properly kind of curves into the little crevice of your palm right here a bit better and a bit more comfortably. And if I can be honest, I think this just feels better in the hand. Now, this is going to be a little bit heavier than the Switch OLED. What I can say is that when you pick them up, they feel pretty much the same. You can discern that the Switch 2 is just like ever so slightly heavier, but I can say hands down, in terms of in the hand feel, this probably feels the best of all of the consoles that I have here in the room with me right now. This definitely takes the cake. Small thing that's weird, I imagine this is going to be corrected at some point in the future, but Hulu does not work, nor does YouTube. Super strange. Now, immediately upon taking this out of the actual box, putting this in my hand and sifting through the menus, playing some Mario Kart World, of course, like everyone else in the world over the last 24 hours has been, something that I have noticed is that the Joy-Cons, more specifically my left side one, is just a little bit wobbly. And I can feel that really if I'm holding this in one hand, but sometimes, depending on if I'm like sitting back or if I'm shifting my weight or adjusting the Switch 2 in my hand, I kind of feel that little bit of wobble giving on the left side Joy-Con. I have not had this fall out. I haven't had any errors that this was not attached properly to the controller. Nothing at all that's impeded gameplay whatsoever. Just a strange little quirk, and for me, for something that you're spending $500 on, that is something that I wish was a bit more sturdily locked in. I think for the large majority of people that are going to be using this over the next however long, maybe there will be absolutely no problem throughout the course of the lifespan. But for something I just pulled out of the box, that's just a little bit concerning, but at least for right now, has not been an issue. Something I will say is that I always do really appreciate Nintendo's attention to detail for like the little things, right? So for example, being able to just kind of like take this out. And then for example, when you press this button, it's not just kind of like your traditional latch where you press it and it kind of lets go. There's sort of a satisfying release action that you're getting, and then you get like a little bit of feedback from the controller itself, and then the snap, and then the other little ba-bing that you're getting. Man, that just feels good every single time. The speakers sound really good, and all of the little sounds that you're getting in association with like your navigating of the UI, going into the store, detaching your controller, selecting on a different menu item, the entire experience just looks, sounds, and feels good. And I think it's something that I think Nintendo really nails here every single time that you're picking up the Switch 2. Yeah, I think that's really the only way to put it. It looks, sounds, and feels really good. In terms of gaming experience, games just feel really good on this. The sound that you're getting out of the speakers is also really complimentary. Like for example, when I booted up Mario Kart World for the first time, went through the menu systems, scrolled through the characters, selected my card, jumped into the world. Everything looks really great on this 120 Hz VRR display. And in terms of performance and frames per second, Mario Kart World is running immaculately. The tracks look great, the characters look great, and the little interactions that you're getting between characters as well are really good. On this display, everything just sings, and as a whole, gameplay on this has been really nice, and that's even going back to older games like Pokemon Violet. The additional horsepower that you're getting out of this, even without having to pay for like those additional upgrades, the additional performance that you're getting out of these games is 100% a really big plus for playing those older games that kind of chugged and struggled on the original Switch. All right, so in terms of battery, right? So the last time I brought this up, it was 332, we were at 94%. Now we are here 20 minutes later, down to 88% battery. So we lost 6% battery in 20 minutes, and I haven't touched a single game. I literally have just been on this screen. Sometimes the screen would be off if I was holding it like this, and you know, the times that I would show it to you guys, I would have it like that. And so that leads me to the rest of the battery life. So I did a few tests with a couple of different games, that being Pokemon Violet, Dragon Ball Kakarot, and all right, so I'm gonna try something here with you guys. So right now, the battery is on 47% at 9:21 a.m. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to see how much the battery drains after finishing one entire circuit. So that's 4 races on Mario Kart. I'll be right back. Alright, so I just finished the circuit. Unfortunately, I had to take like a 15-minute break for a phone call, but the battery right now is at 35% at 9:48 a.m. So in total, after about 20 minutes worth of gameplay, that's the difference. A Mario Kart World and 3 houses, and what I found pretty equivalently across all of those games is that in say like a 10-minute span of time, you're going to be losing between 4 and 5% battery. And that's been pretty consistent no matter what game I've actually been playing. I haven't really tried any indie titles yet. Before those games with moving 3D models, detailed environments and such like that, I found that that battery drainage has been pretty consistent. Now, something else that I think is likely not going to matter to like 90% of people that are going to go get a Switch and picking this up and playing games on it is the display. Don't get me wrong, 8 inches, 120 Hz VRR, is great, but when I pick this up, I can't help but feel like this should have been an OLED display. We're inevitably going to be getting that in like 2 or 3 years. The Switch 2 OLED is definitely going to be coming around. Now, for me, it would be disingenuous to say that this not being an OLED display has completely negatively impacted my gaming experience on this, but as kind of a tech nerd, I'm a little bit disappointed that it's not here, but overall, the screen is still great in my experience. All right, so I have a lot of really hard work to do getting this video out to you guys, so I'm just gonna go over here. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you have any other questions, let me know in the comment section. I'm definitely not gonna procrastinate anymore and play on the Switch at all. But yeah, have a great day, guys. I hope you enjoyed the video. Ask me some questions. Bye.